Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome in my firstborn, Jim! You can't clap for yourself.
Of course I can. Absolutely can.
You're way close.
Is that bad?
No, it's okay.
All right.
No. How are you?
Great, how are you?
Okay. What do you think of all this?
I'm still coming to terms with what's going on here, especially that. And just adjusting.
Okay. When we do these videos, this happens all the time.
Mm-hmm.
We forget the dog's outside.
Do you want to go with the
And
dog
then
again?
the dog starts barking. Did you hear her?
I did.
So did they. Would
You
you
wanna
go
take
get
care
the
of that?
dog
Okay.
and then put her in her room for me, please? Would you do that?
Oh, I see why I'm here. That's all right.
Jim's here. Okay, hurry up, I want to talk about you. You gotta move faster.
I'm going as fast as I can.
You didn't run, you walked. This isn't like when you're on the ice when you were a kid. Do you still skate? No, you don't, because your gear is here. You gotta get some exercise, man.
I get exercise every day.
At work, right?
Yep.
Okay. I know, but hockey's more fun.
It is. Gotta start that back up again. It's been a while.
Okay. There's a lot I want to talk about today. And again, this is the first time Jim's been on, so... By the way, we created a monster with your sister, Jacqueline.
She a pop star now?
Oh yeah,
Celebrity?
she's Kim Kardashian minus the nasty video.
She come in here thinking, oh, I gotta be in the... She did come in here unwelcomed, like, oh, it's my time?
Well, it's like... she's just out of control. It's hard to even explain it, but she had the one video and then she was featured prominently and it was like, uh-oh.
You had that huge fight. I saw it. You didn't go into detail on the video. What?
Oh my God. I think we got it fixed. It took a little while for her to make sense of it, but...
How did that fight start? Who initiated the argument?
Come on! Please! What did you mean, which one? There was more than one over the weekend.
The one about her in the videos.
I don't even recall. I just know that last night was bad, and there was more than one fight, and it's just, I don't know. I think she got it, but it was a little weird for a little while. So, first and foremost, we need to talk about the sign. There was great controversy with the Labatt blue light sign on two fronts. A, because it's too bright, and it like dominates everything. So I intentionally left it off, and I'm going to turn it on at some point so that they, get all their bang for their buck, so that beer peddler Mark doesn't get fussy. But it's still here. You can still see it. And the other thing is, got an email from somebody a little confused about, recovering alcoholic with a beer sponsor. Okay, time out. I have sold beer for 30 years. If anybody wants to say, go to me and say, can we advertise on your show? I am not going to turn that away. Just because I cannot drink the beer doesn't mean you can't drink the beer. Because I'm a moron and don't know when to shut it off doesn't mean that you suffer from the same issue. Not everybody is a drunk, okay, like me. I cannot drink beer. Just like with vape juice. I don't vape, but I'll still tell everybody about vape juice because some of you do vape. I'm not gonna vape, but if you want to go vape, do you still vape?
No.
Every time I found his vape pipes, I would throw them away.
You thought it was a crack pipe.
I didn't know what it was at first.
What is this?
What is this, Jim?
Where's the crack at?
What were those dumb hallucinogenic seeds you got caught taking? What were those
I
called?
don't even remember the name.
What were they called?
I don't remember.
Salvia Barbaria or something? Or?
It's something close to that. Oh.
You didn't think I was going to bring that up, did you?
No, that's fine. Bring whatever you want.
Okay, so anyway, so that's it. I don't know what to tell you. This is a beer company, and they just put food on my table, and I'm very appreciative of that, and I love them for that. So thank you, Labatt. If you don't suffer from a problem like me, please buy their beer and drink it. Thank you very much. But yeah, it's just my luck. I go from working on a show called Free Beer to doing my own folksy homespun podcast with a beer sign in my face.
What's your problem, man? Talking about beer?
Yeah. So that's it. At some point, I'll just randomly turn on the sign to
see it in all its glory.
Okay. Boy, we have got to get into Trump at some point, and we also have to talk to Jim about just going down memory lane with Jim. It's always great.
So many.
Story time. Family story time with Jim.
Endless.
So I want to talk about Trump and the business of David Duke in a second. But first, there was a hockey game last night, and my beloved Griffins, that team has done so much to help us as we are going through this period of weirdness. Thanks a lot, very much. You guys are the best. So last night they played Chicago, and it was they had 3-3. They had a game Friday night, Saturday night, and then a 4 o'clock start on Sunday. That's never easy. So Chicago comes to town. The Chicago Wolves are the St. Louis Blues farm team, and I think they've got like as many wins as they do losses. So, they hadn't been playing great hockey, but they came in and they were leading the Griffins 3-1. It wasn't the Griffs' best night up to a certain point. And then in the third period, the Griffins scored 2 goals to tie it. So it was super exciting. And so it goes into overtime. And about a minute 3 into overtime, this dude from Chicago, his stick bashes one of our forwards, Andy Neely, right in the face.
Oh.
And his nose explodes. It didn't even look like a nose. It was terrible. So he skates over to the bench, and his back is to the ice. It's so clear he won't be in the game. At least you thought. So there's a penalty call. They give him a 4-minute minor, so that means for the rest of regulation, the Griffs are a man up. It's a 4-on-3. Normally it's 3-on-3 in overtime, but if there's a penalty, the team that drew the penalty gets an extra guy. So it's 4-on-3 for the remainder of overtime. All the while, we can't get anything going in overtime. The puck's in their zone for extended time, but we couldn't score. So there's about a minute left. The trainer stuffs a t-shirt up each of Mealy's nostrils. He's got so much fabric in his nose, it's unbelievable. You can't even see his mouth. He skates out onto the ice, gets a pass, shoots it from the blue line, slap shot, wins the game.
He scored. Broken
And
face.
so, and the goalie for Chicago was all butthurt because he thought that Anthony Mantha was in the crease, which he was not. And so he starts having a temper tantrum. The Griffins all make like a big pile, like a big celebration. And this dick comes skating over and skates through the pile. You ever see that happen?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. So they just let him get that up. They're all pushing him and go home, filthy slob. So that was awesome. That was really, really great. I took a picture of them celebrating because they were right in front of our booth and posted it. So that was cool. So Donald Trump, some comments were made over the weekend from David Duke. Are you familiar who that was before this happened?
I've seen news stories about it because of stabbing at that protest. And
Yeah. But before this weekend, did you know who David Duke was?
I did not.
Okay. In case you're new to this whole story, David Duke is an American white nationalist, anti-Semitic conspiracy theorist. These are all bad words. If this is your label, this is a negative. Far-right politician. All right. Former Grand Wizard of the Klan. Former one-term Republican Louisiana state representative. Yeah, he won public office in Louisiana. That guy. Come on. He was a candidate in the Democratic presidential primaries in 1988. He ran for president.
And he actually was.
Yeah, he was doing what a lot of these guys are doing now, trying to garner votes. And the Republican presidential primaries in 1992 also. He unsuccessfully ran for the Louisiana State Senate, United States House, and governor of Louisiana. He is a felon, having pleaded guilty to defrauding supporters by falsely claiming to have no money and being in danger of losing his home in order to solicit emergency donations. At the time, Duke was financially secure and used the donations for recreational gambling.
Good guy.
He describes himself as a racial realist, asserting that all people have a basic human right to preserve their own heritage. Duke also speaks against what he describes as Jewish control of the Federal Reserve Bank, the U.S. federal government, and the media. Duke supports the preservation of what he considers to be Western culture and traditionalist Christian family values, constitutionalism, abolition of the IRS, and voluntary racial segregation, anti-communism, and white separatism. He's been accused of supporting Holocaust denial. Okay, that's a lot for a person to have on them, but that's the guy. Just recently, Duke said, Trump is by far the best candidate. If David Duke said publicly, Eric Zane has the best video blog, I would be unhappy with that. And I would spend my time on my next video blog talking about how much of a fuckface David Duke is. I would not at any one point go, well, I don't know David. I think I need to look into more of what he's all about. I have no idea what he stands for. Everybody knows what David Duke stands for. But fuckery, as we just heard. So, if David Duke comes out and supports this podcast, let's just say right now that that is a big thumbs down to David Duke. Donald Trump, not so much, at least initially. Trump, quote, well, just so you understand, I don't know anything about David Duke, lie one. I don't know anything about what you're even talking about with white supremacy or white supremacists. That's what he said in response to this. So he's acting like, well, I don't know who this guy is who's endorsing me. I don't know. So what he's trying to do there is play both sides. He's trying to get the racist scumbags who love morons like Duke to keep feeding him the votes and the support and the money or whatever it is, at the same time act plain dumb to the whole thing. He has discovered Duke before. He knows, everybody knows who David Duke is except Jim. Sunday he said he would not disavow someone that he knows nothing about. Everybody say, why haven't you disavowed David Duke? I don't know David Duke. I don't believe I've ever met him. I don't know anything about him. That's not true. He criticized him viciously in 2000. In the year 2000, he made it known how he feels about David Duke. Of course he knows about David Duke. Finally, after much prodding, stupid-ass Trump says at about 12:30 yesterday, I disavow him. Okay. Let me just say this in conclusion about this whole bit of nonsense. First of all, I'm not positive that this will do anything to derail him. But I think that this is the most tangible thing that could derail him. Racism is very, very ugly and disgusting. And even people who support Trump, who have put a blind eye towards all the obvious things, if you would just do a little bit of digging into your guy, you would see he's a problem, okay? Even though he does the tough talk and he says all the things that your stupid, feeble mind believes in, the fact of the matter is, this is an ugly racist moment. And if you look beyond that and still say, yes, that's my guy, America has gotten a lot uglier in the past weekend because of that. If you can still say, honestly, this is the guy that I think should be in charge of the free world and be the American president, that's very disturbing to me. I don't like it at all. And that's the thing. That's one of the things that bothers me most about Donald Trump. All of this and the fact that so many people will turn a blind eye to something as terrible as this is. That's it. Oscars Spotlight won Best Picture. Want to see it? I didn't know anything about the film prior to last night. You know what that film is about? It's about Best Picture. It's about the Boston newspaper that exposed the priest abuse scandal back however many years ago that was. Yeah, well, the Boston, all the different priests in the diocese that would commit rape on people, kids in general, and then move the priests around and stuff like that. I mean, you were very young when that happened, but so.
And Leonardo DiCaprio.
Bright sign for Best Picture, and then DiCaprio. First, how about that? Have you seen The Revenant?
I haven't.
I heard it's great. Ernie didn't like it though.
Really?
No, he did not like that film. Mad Max got 6 awards for all sorts of technical stuff. That was cool. Did you see the whole business about the black people? You know how they weren't nominated for any of the...
they boycotted it?
Yep. Well, not so much that. There was talk about it, and so it was like the big discussion about lack of diversity in the nominees, and I think they're 100% right. You know, I get it, and I think that's completely legit. Chris Rock, most of the monologue, I mean, literally 1 second out of the gate, race joke, race joke, race joke, race joke, all race jokes. So really letting him have it. What Hollywood needs to do now is go the complete other direction, and all films made can only have black people in it. I want all Avengers to be black. The Hulk needs to be black. They all need to be black.
Even the Green Hawk, or just like Mark Ruffalo needs to be a black version of Mark
Ruffalo? No, it needs to be black Mark Ruffalo,
Black Hulk.
Mark Blackalo, and instead of the Hulk, he's known as the Bulk. Everything it's black centric from here on out. Thor is black. Scarlet Witch, Vision, black. Samuel L. Jackson, white. His character. Okay. We're doing great, by the way.
Yeah, I'm glad.
I feel good. You feel good?
Yeah.
All right. It's got to be interesting. I've got to do a email from a person who's got a drinking problem later on. Not today, but another show. I will address drinking issues. There are people who do have drinking problems, and you guys write me emails, and I'm very blunt about those issues, but not lost on me that it's a beer sponsor.
Because that automatically makes you an alcoholic.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. Of course, Jim's just being silly, but the fact of the matter is, again, not everybody's a drunk like I am. And you can enjoy that responsibly, so thank you. Again. Okay, Jim is here, and you know, anytime I'm with you, it's always special, being that you're my firstborn. I think about the day you were born often.
Ooh.
24 years old, and I'll never forget it because I was sitting in my living room floor in Midland, Michigan, in my 900 square foot house. We were just struggling to get by. We were like a Springsteen song, your mother and I. And she was massively pregnant, and I was sitting there building baby toys, like an exerciser or something. Mm-hmm. And then she's like, you know, I don't feel good. I don't feel him. I don't feel him kicking, and it just doesn't feel right. And I remember holding her big giant belly, and you know, with her 1990s haircut, shaved all the way around, with a giant sweater, and wearing her stirrup pants. And she called the nurses station at the hospital in Midland. Mm-hmm. Mid-Michigan Regional Medical Center, and they said, come on in. And so they did a ultrasound, and there was no amniotic fluid in there, and that was a bad deal. So emergency C-section, boom. 80 minutes later, you're out of the womb, and you're silent, you're not breathing. It was bad, and you weren't breathing for extended time. And you were covered in meconium, or feces, shit all over the place. I mean, actual chunk shit on you.
Gross, come on, easy.
And I looked up, and there you were, but you were not breathing. It was bad. And then you finally cried. But I think that you did come to life. But I was so scared. I think that actually something did happen to your brain. I think the part of your brain that would make you, that would cause you to like use condoms.
Oh yeah, see, I knew that was coming.
Was it telegraphed? Telegraph joke?
I knew that was coming at some point in the video. I was waiting for it. I actually said, I wonder when a condom joke is going to come in. And when I heard part of your brain that was messed up, I'm like, oh, the contraception part of my brain.
All right. Well, I'm not a joke writer, but so anyway, yeah, that was absurd. And then, boy, you were in intensive care for 14 frickin' days. The doctor said to me that first night, he said, you have a 50-50 chance of living, and I don't know if he's gonna make it. That was so bad. I'll never forget that. And then I drove home that night. I actually drove home because your mother was still in the hospital. I drove home. Got a case of Miller Genuine, a 12-pack of Miller Genuine Draft. Cold filtered for your enjoyment. After midnight, we gonna let it all hang out. That's an Eric Clapton reference.
Yeah, didn't get it.
And drank a lot. And then, let's see, April of '95. I was 2 years away from stopping drinking.
Perfect time.
I have a listener. We have a listener to the show, or I had a listener to the show who now follows on Twitter and this, who is your age.
Yep.
and crazy. She went to school with you.
Yep.
And I didn't really think about that. I thought I knew that, but I wasn't positive. And then after all the weirdness happened with not being on Free Beer and Hot Wings anymore, she tweeted something. Give me the first name again. Did you say Leslie?
Leslie.
First, Leslie tweeted something about. Do you remember what the specifics were on the tweet? It was something about.
She made me cry in 6th grade.
And she said she's been hanging on to that for 10 years.
10 years.
So she's like 20 now. She was 10 then, and or thereabout. And apparently, and I responded with what? Did he try to make you a mommy too?
That wasn't it. That wasn't the case.
And she indicated that something went down, and I brought it up to you a few days ago, and you immediately, it's like you were back there, boom.
Oh,
and you were. It's still is in your head.
Yeah, it's in the recesses of my brain, but I do remember it.
What happened? That upset you and made you cry.
I don't know if it was near
6th
the
grade
end of the year, or she was just doing it out of the kindness of her heart, but she was giving everybody like kind of like mock awards. And our last name starts with Z, obviously, so my locker's at the end of the hall. So I'm like the last one to get anything.
So she's giving out awards for like best laugh.
Just smacking them on the locker, writing them on like a little ribbon.
Most popular.
And putting them on everybody. Nicest hair, best smile. I'm going down the hall, I have to see all these because my locker's at the end of the hall. I'm like, oh, that's so nice. I wonder what mine's going to be. Mine's got to be something cool. Or there's got to be something. And I get to my locker and I look at it, and I'm smaller, no, not that tall.
Well, yeah, I'm only 5'7", and you're shorter than me.
So I was even smaller in 6th grade, obviously.
You were teeny tiny.
So I get to my locker and I'm expecting like best personality, something crazy, and I get the there's no way I'm in 6th grade award, and I look at it for a second. Oh, this can't be real. And then I'm like, okay, this is real. So I took it, and her locker was next to mine, closer to mine. So I took it and I ripped it, and was so upset. And I threw it on the floor. And I was so disgruntled, I started crying, and to put the blame on me, like I'm the one that was the bad guy.
Who did? She did?
Like I worked so hard.
She got mad at you?
I worked so hard.
She witnesses?
Yeah, like I worked so hard on those. I'm like obviously not on mine.
She just knifes you. She just.
It's like I can't think of anything for you, so I put an insult instead.
Oh my God! And so that's from that point on. Did you ever speak to her again?
Well, I mean, like once I realized it was such a minuscule thing, like in high school, I think I had a class for like my junior year. Okay. We didn't ever discuss this until now. This is it's fresh, but I do remember that vividly.
Wow, that's rough, man. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that happened to you. So, what's on the baby horizon? Are we getting another one anytime soon? We're gonna get number 3?
Just the 2.
Really?
Just the 2.
Well, what about if you're like 20? I'm like in 20 years. When you're like, Mr. Freebeer's age.
That would be a weird dynamic.
Yeah, if Grayson's in his 20s and you have a baby, I mean, that's still entirely possible. I mean, you're 20 right now.
I don't know. I'm not thinking about that. I don't think so. I don't think I'm going to do that again.
Oh,
we'll see.
You should have more. Yeah, I say at least one a year.
Be like the Duggars, less.
Okay. All right. Well, I think we've done it. I think we're all set. Do you think there's anything else you want to talk about?
No.
You feel good? Did you touch your wiener at all while we're doing this? Because I know you're often a scratcher. You know what?
I might have. We'll have to see. They will have to see.
If Jim touched his wiener, will you screenshot it and send it to me, please, so I can post it?
He actually do it for fun, but it's my boxers.
He's constantly touching his penis and balls.
Nope.
He does. Well, okay, but all you see when he does it is.
No, I do it discreetly. I put my hand inside my pocket and unfold.
Okay. You have to go shut the camera off.
I do?
Yes.
It's your podcast.
I know, but you need to shut the camera off. Give me a kiss. Give me a kiss. Give me a goddamn kiss. Give me a kiss.